think you're being overly modest there, Duncan. You've built something pretty incredible here, and I think the reputation is already extremely high, mate. I certainly love coming here every chance I get. Hopefully I get a slideshow coming at some point. Oh, I've got to do it. Hang on. Sorry, it's been a while. So when Tricia slacked me, I've been locked up there in cell block C for a year and a half. When Tricia slacked me and said, hey, how would you feel about having our summit at a UFC headquarters, UFC Performance Institute this year? I was like, you kidding? And she's like, are you going to be able to make it? And I said, well, I'll swim if I have to. So thankfully it didn't come to that. But and by the way, it's not as bad as it seems in the news. So come on down and see us someday. I wanted to start by thanking people in advance. Firstly, I really want to thank Duncan and the UFC team. What more could you ask for? People are already asking me, how are you going to top this next year? And I reckon Allegiant Stadium will be pretty expensive. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Thank you in advance to all of our speakers. We've got a pretty amazing lineup. Yeah, we're going to learn a lot, and hear a lot of wisdom the next 2 days, which is what this is all about. Thank you to our staff for putting this on, especially Jasmine, our events manager. Done an amazing job, and so far so good. So hopefully that keeps up. So when we first ran this 4 years ago, we had about 40 people in the room up in Chicago. Hands up who was there? Anyone? There's a couple. Thanks for coming back. And then the last one we had was in Park City in 2019. That was pretty cool. We had about I think 110 people. Hands up who was there? Thank you for coming back. It's been all right. And yeah, this year we're well over 200, which is just amazing. So give yourselves a round of applause. And thank you so much for coming. And also to note, this year we've got, I think, actually about 230 people, and around 150 of those people are from various walks of the armed forces in the States. So, which is really exciting. I think in Park City there was about 20, and in Chicago there was probably one or two, probably Adam and Josh, that would be about it. So that's really cool. And for those of you who served or are still serving, I just want to start by thanking you for your service. A round of applause for that too as well, please. So I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. So the first time I ran this in Chicago, I think I did about 8 presentations over 2 days. Apologies for that. But I think in Park City I got to do about 3 or 4, and this time I get 2 by 30 minutes. So the way it's going, I might not even get invited next year, so I'm going to make the most of this. Right, so look, a lot of the people in the room have been working with us now for quite a few years, some of them up to 10 years. Hopefully a lot of the people in the room will be working with us in another 10 years as well. So I thought it would just be good to give you a bit of an update on where we're at and what's important to us, and then tomorrow afternoon, to close it out, I'll sort of talk a bit more about where we're going, especially from a product point of view. I think we could all resonate with this over the last 2 years. Life's full of surprises. We all got a really big one. So, it was an interesting time, I think, for everybody. Interesting time to be running a business, that's for sure. How we go? I think a lot of people have been asking us that. And so everyone doesn't ask me at drinks tonight and I have to repeat myself 100 times. I thought I'd tell you. We were lucky. A lot of the sports tech companies we know out there and stuff did it pretty tough. We were very fortunate. And look, going into COVID, we were rocking. I think the year before COVID, the Smarterbase business grew something like 80%, something like that. We were flying. And even going into COVID with doing things like the NBA bubble and things like that, we're like, we can just help and do this and do that. And then sport came to a grinding halt. But we were really fortunate, I think basically, we'd set out to grow 80% again that year. I think we ended up growing about 45, which is still pretty good. And that was largely due to, I guess, the diversity of the people we work with, especially Olympic committees in the military, being government funded, weren't so impacted as the private sort of sports teams and colleges. So really fortunate for that. But still, I think a lot of people were forced with this decision. Do you stop, do you slam the brakes and wait? Do you meander along and kind of, see how it goes? Or do you keep going? And we talked long and hard about that. And you'll be glad to know we said, let's put the foot down. Let's use this time to let's use this time to really grow up as a company and as a group of people. Let's really figure out what we're doing, where we're going. Let's put all the right processes and systems in place, and let's be ready to go when the cloud lifts. And thankfully, we had some. Our investors were really great. You can sort of see here. People wonder about, why do you get investment, things like this. This is it. It's to bring great people on board, right? And so our investors sort of went, hey, look, no, we don't want to. You can see we were starting to slow down there around 2020, and they said, no, let's keep going. Let's come out of this stronger than ever. So they doubled down and off we went. We just kept marching, which was really cool. Very lucky. Out of that headcount, our US headquarters now in Broomfield, Colorado. When I left here, I was over here for a year and a half with the family, and we decided to bail when COVID hit because we just didn't know what would happen. When I left, I think we had about 10 or 12 people, and when I came back 5 weeks ago, we're up to like 35, which was pretty amazing. And that's really now becoming our global hub of kind of, our interface with the market. So really cool, great spot. Come out whenever you can. We've got a lovely office out there, and there's lots of fun to be had in between. So loving that. One of the real things we did is when you start up something like this, you do everything. And then I sort of brought Sue Robson on, our COO, and we did everything, and eventually. But it got to the point, we said in 2021, let's really build up this leadership team. Because at the end of the day, when you've got 150, 160 people, you need to make sure it's very well led. So we brought in Dave here, our Chief Revenue Officer based in the States as an executive here, and then we brought in a proper CTO and head of product. And those were just shared before between a bunch of us. And that was okay when we were small, but it wasn't going to scale. So that's been really good, and I'll talk more tomorrow especially about the effect of bringing in Greg and James and where we're going with the product. We've also started to, because we've now got this leadership and this capacity and we're more organised, we're starting to really engage more in a more organised way with our clients. So we recently set up, this is one of Dave's initiatives, we set up a thing we call a PAC, Product Advisory Council. So we've got 14 members here in the North American PAC. We actually, a bunch of us went out to dinner last night, it was really good. And from all walks, sports, pro sports, college, military, everything. And the idea of that is, again, to just start building this tribe and have these tribal leaders guide us. Right? We want you guys to tell us where we need to go, and we're ready to listen. So that's really cool. And we've got another pack in sort of Asia Pacific, and then another one in Europe. So really cool, and it's already starting to really guide us really well into where we're going. And a lot of it's just about getting things in the right order. I think when you're small and you're getting pushed around and you kind of you just don't sequence things right. And now we're getting really good at sequencing things right and getting the order of things right, which is really cool. We also really sat down and did a lot of thinking about, and I'd recommend this process for anyone, whether you're a company or a team or a military unit. A lot of you probably have, but we really sat down and thought about who we are, what's our DNA, what are our core values that we've got up on the screen here, and then you start to, and they're words to live by. And it's really important, and it's a really important process, and it was really eye-opening to go through that. We also, really then look to the future. Where are we going to go? And just recently, a couple of months ago, we had a new director join our board of directors who will actually move into the chair seat early next year. Remarkable person, retired Major General Jeff Sengelman. So Jeff was the head of 30 years in the Australian Armed Forces and Army, and when he retired in 2017 was the commander of Australian Special Forces. So, and he actually served under General Petraeus in Iraq and led 200,000 people. So, and it wasn't about what he knew about the military. It was what that really amazes me about Jeff. This guy eats strategy for breakfast, and execution and being able to pivot and being able to make great decisions under pressure. And I'm learning so much from him. So the last 2 months, we've literally been writing a 10-year plan, 10 years out. And if people had asked me before, have you got a 10-year plan? I'd be like, are you kidding? I don't know what we're doing next year. So it's been really, really cool. And the thing that keeps coming through is kind of what I want to explain now. We've also set some really big goals. I don't know if you've ever heard this concept called BHAG, Big Hairy Audacious Goal. It's like the Jim Collins concept. And yeah, it's a goal that you set that's really, really hard to meet, but it's something to strive for. So our goal here is by 2028, impact the lives of 10 million humans. We just passed 500,000, so we've still got a long way to go. Yeah, it's a great North Star for us. And it really, what it does is it reminds us that it's just all about people at the end of the day. So as part of that, I love this quote, and you really do have to start saying no to things, and you really have to start, focusing on what's really important. And it really is exactly that. The best part of a strategy is actually clarifying what you're not going to do anymore, what you're going to stop doing. So you might have seen the news a couple of weeks ago, or a month or so ago, I don't remember now, that we actually transitioned our flagship original product that started the business right back in 2003. Because Smarterbase was only launched in 2011. Transitioned that to the folks at Bold, another Brisbane company. We knew them well, and look, we're sitting there thinking about Smarterbase and where are we going with this over the next 10 years, and it just didn't fit anymore. We just wanted to do one thing. We just wanted to focus on Smarterbase and just do that. And it's interesting because it's interesting how things change. If you went back, I can tell everyone this now because we're not doing it. But if you went back 3 years ago, we actually had this whole grand plan of an ecosystem in sports. We were 80% of the road down developing a GPS platform with satellite sensors. It was going to be really cool. But we were sitting there just going, look, how's this going to work, right? We're going to start, we have all these great partnerships with integration partners, and we're kind of the Switzerland of everything, right? We play nicely with everyone, and suddenly we're going to start competing with some of them. And yeah, it just didn't make sense. And then, and then the military came along and said, hey, we want to join this movement. We want to join sport in driving humans. And we said, right, we can do more with Smarterbase than just sport. So long story short, we dropped all of that. So and I'm so glad we did. So now it's great. It's one company, one product, one vision. We just got one thing to do. And there's a lot to do, but it's just it's such a relief, to be honest. So we really thought about our mission as well. I'm going to read this because if I give you my version, it's going to go for about half an hour. So, born in the world of elite sport, the human optimization movement will affect all walks of life. We support the leaders and change agents, that's you, of this industry to drive it forward using a combination of technology, expertise, and community. We drive better decision-making through the integration, enrichment, analysis, and communication of multi-domain human performance data. We improve the lives of millions of people at work and at play, and in doing so, we will build a great company with the resources, adaptability, and resilience to genuinely change the world. And I believe that 100%. There's not a doubt in my mind now. It was so good to really think about that and clarify it. So, we were so fortunate, I guess, to begin our business in the world of elite sport. It is the Formula One track, and it always will be. right? It's a place where you fight for the 1%ers, because the 1%ers actually determine win and loss. It's the place with agility, where you can do things quickly, you can try things quickly. You've got the resources, the staff to really innovate. It's just like the car manufacturers do. I'm sure you've all heard that analogy. So it will always be incredibly important to us. The thing about working in elite sport as well is this great consulting team that we've built. I think it's one of the things that's different about us, is these people that have gone out and they've now, delivered over 135,000 hours of consulting into elite sport. And so much knowledge and wisdom has come from that we can now bring to the rest of the world. And it will continue to happen. And we want to continue to build that Formula One track out, because that's where we'll continue to try the new things and be agile. So much so that we're even now, especially with our college clients and pro teams, we've even now launched a thing we call a success guarantee. We know what we're doing and we're just ready to completely back ourselves. And we want more of those people to join the tribe, because we want to keep that innovation going. And then to the military, it was interesting. We sat down and people were like, military sport, that's kind of weird. What's the deal? And, even at the dinner last night, we were all talking about the same things. It's obviously there are nuances, there are differences. And that's good, because there's the opportunity to learn from each other. Where sport will be strong in some areas, that innovation, especially around things like load management or things like that. But then you start to talk about the military, and the military gives you, when you start to think about things like the cognitive side of things, the team performance side of things, there's a lot in that, and that's really fascinating. And the other opportunity that the military provides is numbers, right? Numbers of people to do large-scale implementations and research and really learn, which is really hard to do when you're working with a single MBA team. So there's a lot, and at the end of the day, I just think it's a beautiful opportunity and last night, again, all the conversations were just relevant to everybody. We were all just talking about the same stuff. And even from a product point of view, when I talk about that tomorrow, everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants more engagement of the users. They want things to be faster, more exciting to use, better user experience, and better API connectivity, data pipelines running everywhere. Everybody wants the same stuff. Better onboarding, easier administration. It's all the same. There's nuances when you get to that implementation level, of course, and you're out in the field. But the great thing is, from a product point of view and what we need to do, it's common to both. It's really cool. And look, I think in time, there is an opportunity here to make a genuine global change, right? And I'm starting to think about, what's in the future. And we're not going anywhere yet. Sport military, we've got our hands full. We're good. We've got projects running in some other areas, and we have had for years, but we're very focused on sport and military at the moment. But you start to think about things like healthcare, and then think of what they've been through the last couple of years. I grew up. My mum was a nurse, my wife's a nurse. Read into that what you will, but I've seen it. They come home broken and busted, and they get home at 1 a.m. and they have to be back at 7. It's crazy. There's such an opportunity there. Who knows? We'll see, but not yet. But later, it's going to be cool. And I think the cool thing there is there's an opportunity for all of us. This is not just our company's opportunity. This is an opportunity for everybody. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's about, right? It's about people and the organisations that the people serve and that serve those people in return. It's a bow tie, right? It flows back and forth. And, if you look on that people side, it applies to everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're an NBA player, a war fighter, a ballet dancer, a healthcare worker, whatever. Those things apply to all of us. some areas will be stronger in certain areas, and they can teach everyone else, which is the cool thing. And then for the organisations, again, it's the same for everybody. Everybody has those challenges as an organisation, and again, we can all learn from each other from different industries that are strong and weak at different things. So when I think about it like that, it just becomes really clear, and it's a really great opportunity for everyone in this room to lead this, but it's still just getting started. It's a young industry compared to a lot of others, and that's what we're here to do. It's just help drive that along. Obviously, that's going to be good for business if we do, but it's more important than that. It's about actually doing something really worthwhile, and I think we really can do that, and it genuinely can affect way more than 10 million people. That's just our goal. So that's enough from me. So welcome. Have a great 2 days. Enjoy the speakers, but especially enjoy the breaks. Get outside your comfort zone, meet new people. Don't stand around with all the people you already know. That'd be my advice. Ask questions. People who have dumb questions. The only dumb question is one that you don't ask because you're afraid to. All our staff are here. All the black shirts are here to help you. We're here to serve you the next 2 days, right? If you want to speak to someone, if you want to know about something, if you want to see something, just ask any one of us and we'll make it happen, okay? So it's all about you. It's all about building this community and this tribe around human performance. Enjoy, drink from the cup tonight. Actually drink from the cup, but it's got to be a reputation, our Summit Social, so good luck with that. And enjoy.